Hello there, and welcome back to episode 7 of my tutorial series for Dwarf Fortress. Today's motto is To the Caverns. I want to open a breach into the caverns today, and we're going to dig deep today. This fortress is on a level where it can sustain itself quite indefinitely. We're just waiting here for a couple of work pieces to get done. There's a bit of wall smoothing, a bit of mining left, but all in all, this fortress has everything it requires to keep running for some time. It just doesn't have a very important thing. It doesn't have a connection to the underground caverns yet, and that's what we're going to change today. So, first up, why are the caverns important? They are the source of underground wood. That's one thing. And the other thing is, the moment you open the caverns, the underground will change a little bit. Every spot of fertile soil will start to have floor fungus growing on it. So basically everything up here will grow full of floor fungus eventually. What's so good or special about floor fungus, you might ask yourself? Well, your animals can eat it. So the moment you have broken through to the caverns, you can do indoor pastures, if you want to say so. And this is a really big step forward for your dwarves, because they can henceforth do their thing inside and their animals are safe. So I just changed the priorities a little bit to make sure that my mining orders will get done. So this little cavity will be the entrance to the mining area. I put doors inside to make it easy to seal it off, and I left another spot free inside so I can wall it off should any real big danger occur. You might think that this is a little bit paranoid, but believe me, sometimes it is just better to have that. Next step, we're going to dig downstairs. So, because I want to look for the caverns and I don't know where they are, we're just going to dig really deep. To do so, I have now the stairs on my cursor. I hold down left shift and I move the mouse wheel downstairs. Check the elevation level over here at the minimap while I'm doing this. So I'm going downstairs now 10 levels per mouse wheel tick, if you want to say so. And we're going to go downstairs all the way up until this. So, oh, whoopsie, I wanted to have this on high priority. So we go back upstairs again with the shift held. And there we go. So this is quite a lot of staircases, but this is also exploration. So the next thing we're doing is we're waiting, or we're following them while they're exploring, however you want to put it. I made the staircase 4 grids wide due to several reasons. For one, it allows our dwarfs to work several men at once, or women. And for another thing, it'll make it easier for us later to transport all the stuff away, because this staircase here is also going to be the source of all our stone, metal, and whatnot that we will find. So while we're diving deeper, I'm going to go back upstairs because I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about layers. So as you notice here, there's different colors of stone everywhere. So we are here currently in obsidian, here's gabbro, a couple of layers. While we're browsing deeper, here starts slate, and we found the cavern. So we're going to pause while I want to talk about that. So here's slate, there's diorite, there's the site, there's a smidge of cobaltite in between, and what's worth mentioning is every layer that has a certain type of stone shares its composition with all the other layers. What I'm trying to say with that is all diorite areas will contain the same gemstones and or the same metals. All areas with slate will contain the same gemstones and or metals, and so on and so forth. So these are basically zones of resources, if you want to call it like that. So here we have marble. We browse deeper. We have here already our first indicator that the caverns have been opened. Browsing deeper and deeper. There's more diorite. Here we enter the realm of the gneiss. Deeper and deeper we go. And at that point, we have struck this spot here, and we cannot continue here anymore with our orders. The next thing I do, I get to the eraser, and we're going to erase every job which isn't currently blinking. So the easiest way to do this now is we go all the way back upstairs to where we started. And now I hold down left shift again while I browse downstairs, because I want to delete all the remaining instances of this job. Otherwise they will ruin my day later. Because our next job now is to make ourselves a safe entrance to the caverns. Because what we're seeing here is not safe. This is not safe at all. This here can be a dangerous entry point, and it's getting worse from here. So we're now going to dig out into this direction a little bit, and we're going to go afterwards to dig upstairs right here. There we go. Okay, let's wait until that's done. Gonna explain what's that good for later. So we haven't found any metals whatsoever yet, but that's not too much of a big deal. Next thing we have to wait for is until these things are done. So first off, the caverns are a dangerous place. The caverns are filled with wild animals, sometimes even monsters, and if there is a connection to your fortress, sooner or later, these guys will want to enter that. Therefore, what we're doing next is quite pragmatic. We go on over to the constructions, and we put 2 pieces of floor on top of that, because we want to seal off any potential entrance into our fortress from outside forces. This staircase here will make sure that people can still go out from this place even after we have sealed this place shut, so nothing can enter from that spot anymore. The next thing we need to do is we need to touch ground somehow. So you now scroll downstairs until you find a spot where you can actually positively enter the ground. So that would be this one. So our goal now will be to draw us a staircase somewhere like here. So now I go upstairs, and I hope that I have hit the right spot. While I'm scrolling upstairs, you want to find a spot where you won't be hit by, where you won't be poking into any cavities. Basically, you want a hermetically sealed staircase that will lead downstairs safely, and that's what we did. Because the caverns are, if you do it correctly, a really big source of lots of good things, but you need to handle it carefully because here will be nasties. So we're digging down deep now. There we go. And as you notice, this shaft is not opening any area into the rest of the caverns. That's exactly what we wanted to do. And at that lowest point, I'm hitting H to open this little thing here, and I'm now setting this on the hotkey F3 because I want to be able to get to this point easily, because, you know, it's a damn long way downstairs here. Because if you check this out, this is at elevation -49. My actual city is at elevation 20. Or something around that. So we went really deep down for that. We will leave the caverns as they are for now, because we don't need to interact any further with them. They already did their magic trick. As you see here, floor fungus is already growing here everywhere. So we're now going to move. The meeting area will go away, and we will also remove the outside pasture and create ourselves an inside pasture. So there we go. And now we allocate, of course, the animals back inside there. The big advantage of that is they are no longer vulnerable from attacks from outsiders. Monsters will not be able to attack them anymore while they are sitting in the pasture, and that's a really, really good thing. We will maybe relocate the pasture one day, because currently everybody will have to walk through the pasture before he can enter the fortress, which is kind of weird, but you can put that wherever you want. The basic rule remains the same. Every piece of clay or sandy floor will henceforth be able to spawn floor fungus on it, and the animals will be able to live off of it. We could also put the pasture downstairs here. How about that? I think that's the better spot. Here we go. So I think that's the way better spot. You can't do this as you like. It's just wherever there's soil, you can now pasture down animals, and that is a real big benefit because it really helps you to keep things healthy and alive. So if you want to open up yourself to the caverns, here is a probability. You're going to go for that. And we go back into the orders menu where we have lots of things ordered already. We're now going to order ourselves cages. We make these out of wood because wood is available and it's also a not too heavy material. So we want always a total of 5 cages here, and that's that. Better get back upstairs and chop some trees to make sure that we have still enough wood to work with. Be careful when chopping trees. They will aggravate the animals and the elves in the region eventually, but you will notice that we're not taking out too much wood, but you should not go outside and just chop down everything you can get. That might become a problem in the long run. So these cages will be made in the carpenter's workshops. We are now going to put up a stockpile zone for animals, which is cages. In all honesty, this is actually cages, not animals. And now the last thing that I want to do here is I want to have a door here, a door there, and we're going to fill the rest with cage traps. But currently, I guess we won't have enough cages, but the thing is, we only need the mechanisms in the first place, and the cages will be loaded afterwards into this as ammunition, so to say. So this is sort of a nice safety system, because cages will practically cage anything you want, and as you see here, there's lots of wood down here to go, and other goodies. The moment you breach open this place, you will be able to get into lots of trouble, but also into lots of new resources. Okay, so that's for now all I want to do with the caverns. You could now open it up and close it down with the help of that door, but I want to go for the proper cavern expeditions and going deeper into the whole topic in another episode. Because at the beginning of the game, it is wiser to leave it like that. Before you have a running military squad, I would recommend you to leave the caverns closed, because you might get yourself just into too much trouble, more than it might be worth, because you never know what's living down here. It's totally randomized, and that's where the trouble is. So we have just had a artifact possession, so I will use the opportunity and talk in this video about strange moods and artifact making, because it's a quickly done topic. So your dwarves from time to time will want to make an artifact. You will get that anvil icon when that happens. They will then try to grab a workplace that reflects their skills, and then they will start to tinker. So our expedition leader now wants to make a artifact. So we're going to search for him here real quick. and he's a proficient weaponsmith. Chances are that when they want to make an artifact, that it will be something that is in their expertise. So we don't have a forge installed yet, so we have to change that ASAP, because otherwise the poor guy will die. So we're going to put up the metalsmith that I meant to build later, but, well, why not start now? So we're going to put up both metal smithies. And this is one of the reasons why you absolutely want to have a workshop of every type in your fortress. Every type of workshop is important eventually because of that. So once the smithy has been built up, our fortress, our dwarf, will be hopefully grabbing that. Let's see when that'll happen. Maybe we might be canceling that and putting up that one where there's no boulder present. Sometimes that's also a problem. And there they finally started. So when you see that the moody dwarf in question is not grabbing himself a workshop, that's almost always a signal that you're missing a workshop. And here we see him right there. So you have now a opportunity to see what he wants. So he wants cloth made out of thread. He wants metal bars. So you can check it back here in the stocks. And here we have the problem that we don't have a single metal bar in our possession. I'm pretty sure that cloth we have. So the question in question here is alpaca wool cloth, that's animal thread. So our problem here is that we don't have any metal item. So the next thing that we're going to go for is we're going to set up a smelter. That's where you can craft yourself metal items. And if you ever have the problem that the dwarf in question is not capable of fulfilling his duty, you put a door in there and you lock it, so he might die in peace. So at this point of the game, it's a little bit unfortunate to have this thing happening. We're going to go and see if we can save him. So don't hound yourself if your first couple of people will die in the process, because it's just sometimes a little bit ungrateful. For example, here we need to go there, and we're going to do a little bit of trickery here that I actually wanted to reserve for a later episode, but I think at this point it might be helpful to introduce it to you. So we're going to do that, and I'm putting this area now on F4. So here we can't smelt anything because we don't have any fuel yet. So we're going to go and we're going to melt that nickel cage. That's what we're going to do. For that, we're going to use the wood. Hopefully somebody will build that thing in a minute. You have, by the way, quite some time until something really bad happens. The dwarves, when they want to build an artifact, they are quite a patient bunch. They take a while until they go mad. But if you are wary, you can do this like that, and nobody can leave this place, and there can be nothing happening. If this guy will be not able to do his artifact, he'll go mad and eventually die, because he won't be drinking and eating anymore. He'll be either trying to kill everybody in the process, or he'll do that peacefully. You never know. That's why the dwarf. So here we have now that thing. To smelt down something, you need fuel. If you don't have coal or lignite available, you need to do charcoal. So that's what the wood furnace is good for. We're making here 1 piece of charcoal. And once that's done, we're going to smelt the cage inside the smelter and hopefully create some metal bars that will save this guy's life. So, there we go. charcoal. And now we can activate the melt a metal object duty. And this will only smelt something if you have designated it to smelt. If there's nothing designated to smelt, this job will simply fizzle and nothing will happen. We can now only hope that our friend here will be happy with merely one metal bar. You never know how many of these they require to get the job done, but this is the only thing that I can think of. If you lack metal bars because you don't have any ores or whatever, you can just check in your inventory for any metal item that might be able to fit the thing. But back to this real quick. Your dwarves will always give you an impression of what they need, and if they just stand still on their workshop, they're either working or waiting for the material to be provided. And as you see here, the moment that metal bar was ready, he sprang forth like crazy and fetching all those materials that he wants to have. And that is how artifacts are being made. There's not much more to that, except for one thing to say. Once that is popping up, you've done the quest. You are done with the worst. And usually people get an insane boost of their skill when they craft an artifact, unless they are possessed, like he is. There are several sources of artifact moods. All of them will result in a legendary skill. So if somebody crafts a artifact weapon, if he's not possessed that is, he's going to be a legendary weaponsmith afterwards. That's true for pretty much every single skill in there. Okay, that's that. I don't want to go deeper into it. We're going to check back with this guy in the next episode when we are going to talk about other industries and the future of this fortress. I have a lot of topics on my mind. So, thanks for watching, everybody. We have here a nickel mace has been made, and it's a family heirloom, so we cannot claim it. Comments go down below. Thumbs up if you like this episode, and consider subscribing. There's playlist links down there in the description box leading you to various other tutorials for Dwarf Fortress and all other topics. And yeah, check them out. I'd be really happy if you did. Thanks for watching yet again. See you all next time. Bye bye.